befinden uns mitten in der Draft-Season. Der Combine, der ist durch. Hier gibt es einen Mock-Draft, da gibt es einen Mock-Draft, Analysen, Gerüchte, die hochkommen. Über all das wollen wir jetzt ein bisschen sprechen und ich mache das nämlich mit Evan Lazar. Evan, thank you so much for joining me here.
Hello.
Well done, very well done.
I got it. I understood every word you said before that.
Excellent. I'll ask you some questions afterwards, but let's talk about the draft first.
Yes.
The Patriots, obviously, number 3 pick, overall pick number 3. There's a lot of holes to fill for this team, I would say. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Caleb Williams, in my opinion, not that realistic that he ends up with the Patriots, but what would you say? What do you see in him, and maybe why is he maybe already gone at number 3?
Yeah, so he'll probably be the number 1 pick in the draft of the Bears. It seems like that's the worst kept secret in the league at this point. But what you see with him is a lot of the same things that you're seeing with a lot of these modern quarterbacks, which is that ability to improvise. He just has a great feel for the game and great instincts for the game where he can get outside the pocket. He can extend plays with his legs, very elusive in the pocket, and then he has a great arm talent. So he can flick the wrist and throw the ball 75 yards in the air. He can change arm angles and throw the ball from different platforms. So all those types of things have got a lot of Patrick Mahomes comparisons for him. Obviously, that's lofty to be compared to Patrick Mahomes, but just in terms of the playing style, that's what he brings to the table. Somebody that has great playground football skills. I think to be more realistic, even though it's still a little unrealistic, like a guy like Russell Wilson in his prime also had some of those tools as well. So those are some of the comparisons that you hear to some of the quarterbacks that are currently in the league for Caleb, but he is one of the more talented quarterback prospects to come out since probably Trevor Lawrence or Andrew Luck or one of those types of guys. That's how he's considered in the league.
Let's move on to the other 2 names, Drake Maye, Jaden Daniels. Who of the 2 would you rather see in Foxborough and why?
So I'm a Drake Maye guy myself, but I like both of these players, and I think it's more just about, it's a flavor thing. It's which playing style would you rather build your offense around? Jaden Daniels is incredibly mobile, a great gifted athlete, a very good deep ball thrower as well, so he can make throws from the pocket, but his game is all about, or really his ceiling as a prospect, his potential is all about his mobility and his athleticism, and he's one of the best runners that I've seen since Lamar Jackson coming into the draft. He's on that level, gets compared a lot to RG3 as well if people go back that far, so Robert Griffin III. Those players have elite mobility, and that's something that you can just build off of going forward, but at the same time, as we've seen with Lamar, you have to build an offense around that. You can't just drop him in Tom Brady's offense and then expect him to be able to sit in the pocket and dice people up. You're going to have to use things schematically to play to his mobility, whereas I think Drake Maye is more of that prototypical NFL quarterback, 6'5", 225 pounds, huge arm, some mobility still. Comparisons that I would give to him are like a Josh Allen. If Jaden Daniels is Lamar, then he's more the Josh Allen type of big arm quarterback, but he's going to more win on script in the pocket than a little bit more, I would say, than Jaden Daniels does. So I favor a guy like Drake Maye for the Patriots simply because of the offense I envision that Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator, is going to want to run. Is going to be a little bit more of that traditional NFL pro style offense. I think that Drake Maye is a perfect fit.
Having said that, I think it's safe to say that both of them can run. They're not only good with the ball in their or through the air.
Yes.
The Patriots have never really been known to have like a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
Is that something you might see change with the new coaching staff?
Well, it's certainly something that they're going to have to evolve to because that's the league now, and that's all these quarterbacks coming out. Even Caleb can run. So all these guys that are coming out of college are dual threat, good mobility. I mentioned Josh Allen. Drake Maye runs a lot like him, more of that big runner. Patriots fans probably remember Cam in 2020. Not exactly that fast, explosive first gear, but he has that ability to run over people and is tough to tackle, kind of like a tank in the open field. Whereas Jaden Daniels is just an absolute lightning rod, right? Like he's somebody that can really explode and create big runs with his legs. So he's more of that Lamar Jackson type of runner. So they're both good runners, and I think a lot of the quarterbacks in this class can run more than maybe some of the other guys. Even like a guy like J.J. McCarthy has some mobility to him. So all these guys now, creating off script or improvising, whatever you want to call it, that's such a big part enamored of the quarterback position now because of the level of talent in the pass rush, mainly, I would say, has really made it so that you can't just have a guy that's just sitting on his spot back there. You have to have somebody that can move around because he's going to have all these guys coming after him.
Last quarterback question for you. Do you see a scenario where the Patriots don't take any of these three guys and maybe take a quarterback early second round or even third, fourth round?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some logic to be said for trading out of the pick altogether, accumulating assets this year and next year. The starting point for the third overall pick for teams in the back end of the top 10, or like a team like Minnesota, that's now the hot name, with the 11th pick in the draft, is 3 first-round picks. So the Patriots could set themselves up with 11, 23, and maybe a first-round pick again next year from the Minnesota Vikings for that third overall pick. That's an enticing package for a team that, like we keep saying, has so many holes all over the offense. Now you get your left tackle, you get your receiver, and maybe you take a guy like a Bo Nix or Michael Penix on day 2 just to have a quarterback that you can have that's in the developmental pipeline, but you're not using that top pick on a quarterback. So if they really view this as a long-term rebuild, we're not going to just do this in a year or two, it's going to take 3-4 years to get this thing up and running, then trading back and accumulating all those assets makes a lot of sense.
Thanks a lot, Evan. Vielen Dank euch fürs Zuschauen. Wir sehen uns bei der nächsten Ausgabe von der Draft Vorschau wieder.